Hello. So I hope that I'm speaking loud enough for the distance from the mic in my camera to where I'm at. I don't know if I have the best mic, but anyways, I just wanted to say hi and give an update on my situation with my health. I'm probably going to upload this to my personal platform. Anyways, and I might put it on YouTube also. So this is intended for multi-platforms. Anywho's, okay, so I finally got in to see my new VA doctor. I'd requested change doctors because my doctor that I had for a few years retired, and just having problems getting appointments, and just, the one that was sitting in until the new doctor gets hired and accepts the position at the VA that I was going to. It's just a lot of people messing with the records and things are getting confused. And the doctor I saw was very dismissive. I was very concerned about this lymph node in my body, wasn't feeling well, and I've been having pain in my ovary. I have mesenteric reticulitis, which it's like autoimmune, and it affects the filter system in your body. Like you can have, I had lymph nodes inside that were inflamed. So I thought, if this one's raring up by itself, then something's going on. And she wouldn't even offer to do lab. She's just very dismissive and just was very oppressive. So I went to a private doctor and was waiting to get a new doctor. Had to wait for an appointment. Takes a little time. So thankfully, I was able to get not one but two new doctors. So I got some lab ordered, and so then when I saw this new doctor about this lymph node, now granted, you have lymph nodes all through your body, and you get sick, you get infection, you get virus, or for whatever reason, it could be allergic reaction, and your body can react for no reason, and you can have maybe a little bit inflammation of lymph node. But this particular lymph node on my left clavicle, it's called supraclavicular lymph node, is generally taken a little more serious, because even though you can be as they call zebra, and it's just like an uncommon node for whatever no particular reason can swell up, it's more commonly a more serious matter, and it can be an infection, specifically like in your gut, or possibly cancer. But whatever reason, whatever's causing it, this node is not anything to ignore. So, um, I have heard people have actual lipomas in that particular area, and it's not a lymph node. So you need to make sure that it is a lymph node. If it is a lymph node on your left collarbone, then you need to go to the doctor. Do not delay, because when that shows up, there's probably something already underlying. So it's kind of actually the only time I've actually ever hoped for an infection in my body, because I'd rather have it being from an infection than the other. So I went to this doctor, and he looks at it and feels and stuff. So he orders some ultrasounds of my pelvic and my ovary and the lymph node itself. And so I was really thankful for that. So I finally got my first initial visit with my new VA doctor today, and he was so nice. I was just really impressed. He discussed things with me in such a thorough manner, more than any doctor has ever. I mean, he was I was with him for over an hour. I mean, we went through a lot of things, because I have a lot of things going on. I have my spine, my cervical, thoracic, and lumbar. Then I have mesenteric appendicitis. Then I have fibromyalgia. Then I have gulfar illness. So all these different things that I have to present to a new doctor for the first time. It was a lot. And, he was just very thorough. I mean, just taking the time to explain a lot of different things that no other doctor really has. And he actually explained things to me as far as being a postmenopausal woman, that I did mention my ovary pain once to my other doctor, and she was a female, so she didn't really say anything about it. So I just kind of thought, well, it's nothing. I I guess I thought that you could have ovarian pain if you're even if you're postmenopausal. I mean, it's kind of uncommon, but women can get cysts, I guess. But he was like, no. He said you shouldn't have pain in your ovary when you're postmenopausal. Like, I'm like, okay. So, but he was like, even if, I was like, well, I'm just hoping that the ultrasounds are negative and, everything will be fine. But he was very reassuring that, even if my ultrasounds are negative, he may even do other tests to make sure we're not overlooking something else. So I was so thankful for that, that he's going to make sure that we don't miss anything. And that really gave me reassurance because, I have dealt with some situations where doctors are just to the point, they can be very neglectful. And if you're not proactive and very, sometimes you even have to be a little bit aggressive, not like in a bad way, but you know what I mean. And so I just kind of was, I mean, I've been more focused on all my spine stuff, and oh, and that's another thing. Thank you guys so much for prayers because I'm going to tell you what happened yesterday. I got a call from the one who's like over primary care doctors and about some things recently that happened. And before the conversation was over with, I ended up with not one, but two referrals to the neurosurgeon. That was a big thing because, back in 2021, I had a neurosurgeon and he wanted to do a double fusion in my lower back, but I didn't. I wanted to consider disc replacement. So I paid out of pocket to go see an orthopedic surgeon for a second opinion to see if I was a candidate for, disc replacement. He said he could do, disc replacement on one disc, even though the other one was also bad. It was considered moderate and not severe. Um, so, anyways, I switched doctors. The VA allowed me to change doctors without any, no issue whatsoever. I just switched from this surgeon to this surgeon and got the disc replacement surgery instead of the double fusion. I was so thankful. So this time I have an orthopedic surgeon, but I wanted to switch to a neurosurgeon because of the brachial plexus MRI that I had done. It shows a pseudo meningeal cell on one of my nerves, and there's no active tear. So if there was a breach at the nerve, where the nerve root meets to the spinal cord, sometimes it can be a little bit of a tear and it can cause the spinal fluid to leak. So that's what causes this little, they call it a pseudomeningeal cell, but it's like a little collection of spinal fluid. But if you have an active tear, there's not really anything they can do. But it appears that there's no breach there. So that's why I really thought it happened during my surgery, which is when you can get something like that from, from a traumatic, like surgery, which it was a very aggressive surgery that I had when they did my double fusion in my upper back. And I was in surgery for 5.5 hours. So they had me in this crazy position for a very long time. And, so it could have been happened then is what I was thinking. And I think he kind of agreed with me on that. So I got I was told they were going to allow me to change to a neurosurgeon from the orthopedic surgeon. I had to start all over and go to physical therapy and basically prove that I needed to go to surgery. I mean, this is the stuff that they do. And I'm just like, what? So I wrangled with them over that. And then they wouldn't let me they would only pay for me to be evaluated for one part of my spine at a time. I'm like, yeah, but I have two parts of my spine that could both be causing this situation. And I have issues in both parts of my spine. So why put me through all these different appointments and just do it in one time? And I've had that done before. Like I've had physical therapy for two parts of my spine, because I have issues all through my spine, right? So if I'm having symptoms from both parts of my spine, then they need to be addressed at the same time. Like it's federal government, it's bureaucracy. So I just told her, I said, I will pay for the thoracic, I said, I will pay for, I said, when I go see the surgeon, I'm going to have him review both the cervical and the thoracic at the same time. I'm going to be running around all these appointments when you can get it done in the same, Anyway, so I just told her, I said, I will pay out of pocket to get it done at the same time and have them reviewed at the same time. But before the conversation was over with, she got me a referral for both my cervical and my thoracic at the same time. And I was just elated, so thankful. Guys, prayer works, prayer matters, and so anyway, so the doctor I saw today, I was just so thankful that he was just went out of his way to be very reassuring that we're going to make sure that we're not missing anything, because I have had multiple abdominal surgeries. I've had, when they went in there twice, the oncologist had to go in there twice to get, when I had the hysterectomy and left my ovaries. And then I had, when they went in there the first time, they saw a mass that wasn't involving my female part, so they had to have another surgeon go in a few months later to look at that, you know. And I had a miracle because I went with a friend to for Eureka Springs, Arkansas, the Great Passion Play. So we stopped at this B&B. I stayed with her and her husband at this B&B. It's beautiful. Oh my gosh, beautiful place in Arkansas. And the guy was a minister that ran the B&B, and he laid hands on me and prayed over me, you know, and he cooked for us. And he was like a chef. I mean, it was fantastic. B&B. I gave him a great review. And so, anyways, he said, now call and let me know what happens after the surgery. So I told the doctors before they went in, I said, I'm not giving anybody permission to take any of my organs out. You know, you take the mass out, whatever. But if you have to, if it's connected and you have to take organ out too, you need to wake me up and let me, you know, because sometimes when you go into surgery, you don't know what you're signing for. You know, sometimes you'd be given them permission to do whatever they want to do. And I just was like, straight up, don't take my organs. We're going to have a chat before you do that. Since I didn't know what it was. And so he woke me up and it was gone, guys. And I had a picture of it and it was so ugly, whatever it was. And I know this sounds gross, but I shared it with people who prayed over it, and they like laid hands on the picture and prayed over it. And I'm telling you, he said either it was a miracle or it was something systemic that rises up and can, you know, resolve on its own. So this weird disease that I have called mesenteric panniculitis it's kind of like that. It's autoimmune and it can just attack your body in weird ways. And there's only like a few hundred people on the earth that have it. It's just really bizarre. Anyways, I was in the hospital in 2013 with it. That's how they found I had it. I had ascites. I had all of my organs. I had fluid around all of my organs. I was in organ failure. And to this day, the VA, it's like I told the star set, I do not have heart failure. My heart is fine. I went to a heart doctor and they said they did all these tests and my heart is fine, other than like a mild tricuspid regurgitation, which is not an issue. Not so, you know, but they keep, because one time I had heart failure because of the ascites. It was a symptom. It wasn't a disease. But anyway, so, you know, and I had all these inflammation around my organs, and I had all this like lymph nodes internally that was swollen, and they never really did an investigation other than going back in and doing more CAT scans to make sure, like, you know, a month later that it was subsiding and that it was, you know, it was healing on its own, and that they never really investigated what was this, you know. And like, it's kind of like an autoimmune type disease, like lupus can do stuff like that, but mesenteric panniculitis was identified and by two different doctors on CAT scans that they did, and said this is sclerosing mesenteritis. And then on a later CAT scan they said it was mesenteric panniculitis, which means basically it's advanced a little bit more, but it can go dormant and it can become benign and then just kind of leave you alone. So I did the treatment for it, which was prednisone, and they want you to take tamoxifen indefinitely, but I elected to not take tamoxifen indefinitely just because I just felt like, let me see if it calms down. I don't want to take something that's a radiation drug indefinitely, put that in my body indefinitely if I don't need to. You know what I mean? So I elected, it's just stayed kind of calmed down, and like every once in a while, you know, it'll flare up. And but see, this is the problem. There's not much known about this disease, that if you don't, there's like no studies that, like, if somebody doesn't take the tamoxifen for, you know, continuously, what results, you know, does it have a long-term effect? You know, they say that 40% of people with this condition, and there's so many few cases in the earth, there's like 8 billion people, and there's only like 500 people with this disease or this condition. Although I suspect there could be more people with it and they just haven't caught it, you know. But anyways, if people don't have the money, like third world countries and different countries, if they don't like have the money or the healthcare to get CAT scans, there could be a lot more people that have it and they just don't know it. But there isn't any much studies to it, you know. So I'm not gonna get back on tamoxifen at this point, but this lymph node could just be something going on with my gut, because according to the research I've done, this particular lymph node has connection to abdominal stuff. For what I've read, it also involves the ovaries. But it could just be that there's stuff going on inside my gut that we haven't even looked at in a long time. And I think that having this condition, I should have like a yearly checkup, an ultrasound at least, to make sure there is nothing going on. And I need to take this call and end this video. Hello?
Hi, this is Jody Moss
Hey.
calling from the VA clinic in Tulsa.
Hey, can you hang on just a second? Hang on. I'm doing a video right now. I need to end this. Come on, mouse, work for me.